Hello, hello, friends. We are back again for Female Voices, Life and Loss. I am Teresa Reiniger.
I'm Wayna.
And Wayna's with me today. Yay, yay, yay. We today are excited to be together recording, and we're going to talk about all of the awarenesses in October. We've had several episodes in October talking about this, but we wanted to kind of pull all this kind of together. October awarenesses.
Definitely World Mental Health Day. Being a therapist is super important to put some eyes on that. But with the World Mental Health, everything encompasses in mental health, right? So I know some of the awarenesses you were telling me about earlier before we got on here with loss and things like that.
Very much aware of Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month being in October, and we've had a couple episodes this month of women that have had pregnancy losses. And then also we know that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well. And when I was looking at all of this, I'm like, wow, this is a lot. This is a lot for women. And I'm like, this would be a great episode for us to speak to all of those things. So where would you like to start? Which awareness do we start with, or rough them all together?
Myself as an awareness person, just meaning myself as a woman. When we talk about breast cancer, we've had several in our family that have had breast cancer, but no one likes to talk about their journey, their mental health journey, or anything negative really in my family. It's very, very hard to talk about real topics, so just thinking of myself, so mom, then I think about infant loss, where I lost my toddler and he was 3. He wasn't an infant, but it felt just as real that I lost my baby. And then just thinking about minorities, when we go into the medical system, how we don't get the treatment and the bedside manner. They don't pull it all out for us. A lot of times we're like, I had a cousin who had breast cancer and had a surgery, and they literally gave her Tylenol to go home with after major mastectomy. Like it's mind blowing. So those are some of the ways that this World Mental Health kind of lands on me. How does that kind of land on you? Just thinking about.
Wow. And I know, just speaking, I want to go to what you were just speaking of. I know with pregnancy and infant loss in particular, and speaking to Black women, minorities, the statistics for pregnancy loss is much higher.
Yes.
For them. And I know with breast cancer, same thing, much higher, the statistics. I know that in pregnancy and infant loss, I think the number is like 1 in 4 with experiencing loss. And that's kind of, I think, I don't know if that's nationwide or if that's worldwide, but it's still, whatever it is, it's super high. And I think with breast cancer, it's like 1 in 7 or 1 in 8 will develop breast cancer. But I know those numbers, if we just probably talked about minorities or Black women, it's probably much higher. And I don't know that number off the top of my head. I had just read so many times that is much higher.
Yeah, which is kind of hurtful. Not what is hurtful, because we're like 12% of the population. So how are we 12% of the population, but we're like record numbers for pregnancy loss, infant loss, and other things that happen in the medical system, which is why a lot of African Americans are not super psyched to go to the hospital, because we're like, how many times am I going to have to explain what's wrong with me? How many times are they going to tell me nothing's wrong with me, I'm fine? So it was so hurtful, because I had put like a post out one time. I had found this fantastic nurse practitioner, and I was like, oh, I'm so happy somebody's listening to me now. I'm starting to get answers. Kind of one of my church members was like, that's for all women. And I was like, I said, no, I have another layer because I'm a person of color. And she was just like, I don't believe that. I was like, of course you wouldn't. It's not your lived experience. So that's the other part, where we need women to kind of champion other women and advocate for other women. that their medical needs are addressed.
And I definitely believe that it is nationwide. It's just fact that it is. I think there are definitely certain hospitals and places, doctors, I think are becoming more aware of it. And I think a big piece of that is, yes, advocating for yourself, us supporting each other as women and advocating for each other is super important. And I guess as we're talking about all these awarenesses, just the awareness how important it is for women to advocate for each other, like
Yes.
you just said.
Yeah. There is power in community, and having that village just support you in every single way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But let's see, let's go back. So breast cancer awareness. I do have, had an aunt. I have an aunt currently who is going through treatment for breast cancer. I had a cousin who's younger than me, so maybe about 6-7 years younger than me, who battled breast cancer a few years ago. And then my bonus children, their grandmother, mother, and sister have all had some sort of lump removed, breast cancer scare, treatment. So just thinking about how close it is, I want to just, women, please, please, please go to the doctor. Don't be like me and be like, no news is good news.
Be like Wayna, be like Teresa. As I say this and we're recording, on my fridge is a reminder to go get my mammogram. I haven't scheduled it yet. I will have it. I go every year. It's just my reminder is there to get it scheduled. And I can say that I am very diligent about doing that. I don't have anyone real, I'm going to say, in my family that has experienced breast cancer. I can say my great aunt did have breast cancer. And so we do, as a family, we get checked often. But what we experience more than anything is very dense breasts. And so when we do get our mammograms, we have to go back again to get a more detailed mammogram, or we have to get an ultrasound, which is super frustrating. It's like, why don't we just do that first? Because we've been doing this for years now. But the medical insurance, all that, we got to go through the process, which is frustrating for myself, my sisters, and now I'm experiencing this with my daughter, is more so these lumps that are cysts. So it's like our bodies produce more cysts. So, but it's still a scare. It's still, you have this lump and it's still a scare. And I'm so grateful so far, knock on wood, that we've never not had those breast cancer diagnoses close to me. But I have friends that have.
Yeah, I've had some friends that had them pretty young too. Yeah. Like I'm talking about like 36. When I say don't be like me, I need to do my monthly checks. I just don't do that. Okay. I go every year, and me and my mother have realized that we both have to always come back for the checkup, for the second visit as well. But I was just wanting to lean into kind of the self-checking, because that is where my girlfriend Shannon found hers, through her own self-checking, and my cousin who had breast cancer, both of them had mastectomies, but she found her lump herself as well. It wasn't the yearly checkup that alerted her. So, and then just thinking about that, just thinking about, we talk about female voices, life and loss, and this is life. I went through the process with my girlfriend Shannon of going to the doctor appointment where the doctor told her she in fact had breast cancer. Shannon is one of my friends that are super, super bubbly. Like, you never really see her sad. You never really see her thrown back. And she was thrown back with that words. Like, her voice, I think she lost her voice for a second because she was just like, what? So I was like, oh, I better start writing down things, because she's not listening to anything right now. So I was asking the questions like, what does that look like? What does treatment look like? What are we thinking? What's the time frame?
That's a good point that you just made, is to make sure when you're going to the doctor or some of those things to take someone with you. Because many times, and I've worked many doctors' offices, and we always encourage them to have someone come with them, because once we hear something, our brain is processing that. And then we don't hear what the doctor or nurse or whoever is saying after that, because our brain is focusing on that one thing that we're trying to understand. And that sounds like that's what your friend Shannon did. Like, her brain was stuck right there.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad you were there with her to help with that, because that's important to take that person with you.
Yeah, and I don't even remember how we got there. Maybe I was just like, no, I'm going to go with you because I don't know what's happening or something. I don't remember, because she's not like a person like who needs hand holding. I don't even remember how we got there. I think I just was like, no, I'm going with you if nobody else is there.
Something God said, girl, go with her, and you did. Maybe.
Yeah, that's my girl. We've been friends for, I was like 20, 21. We've been friends.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's awesome. So just thinking about that, it is important to talk, to have somebody to support you. Because even in her surgery, I was there the whole day. Now, mind you, I was 6 months pregnant. And I'm talking, I had a horrible pregnancy, like so horrible, so gutter. And it was a snowstorm too that day.
Oh, gosh.
It was like, you gonna drive in this? And I was like, I'm gonna go slow.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to do 25 the whole way there. And I'll get there. Yeah. And I did. Brought my little bag of snacks, got me books, got me a charger. I'm hanging out when she gets out this surgery. And bless my friend, though. She gets out this surgery. Do you know she's trying to call all the people that are not there? I'm like, girl, if you don't hang up this phone and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, call so-and-so. If they wanted to know, they would be here. Girl, go, if you don't stop playing with me, hang up.
Yeah. I think she probably, many people said, well, let me know how it went. Well, and she probably felt like it needed to happen right then, and it did not. So good for you. Good for you for making her take care of herself.
Out of this anesthesia, talking about call somebody, girl, if you don't stop playing with me.
Yeah, that'll be all right. Yeah. It'll be all right. Give that some time. Take care of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just very, very, it was a challenge. That's a challenging time. And then my girlfriend, who I'm speaking of, is biracial too. So her mom is Caucasian, dad's African American. But I say that to say she has the thick hair. And, you know, she's had this surgery and she can't raise her hands to wash her hair.
Wow. Yeah.
And her family that she's close to are all Caucasians. So they all said, your hair scares me. So here I am, pregnant.
Wow.
8 months pregnant at this point, trying to wash her hair.
Well, that was super nice of you.
No, that's my girl. I got her back. But I'm saying this to say, not to shame her family or anything like that. But I just want people to kind of step outside themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though her hair is thick as hell and it scares you, imagine how she feels not to have her hair washed in 2 weeks. You know, get outside yourself and actually think about the other person. And I think those are some of the things that kind of led me down this journey on mental health. Which I need to get outside myself and support somebody else. Because if I'm looking at it, it looks hard. They're living it, you know?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I don't think people always realize the difficulties that there could be after such a huge surgery, things that they can do and what they can't do, and to just be aware of that. Like, this is a way to really support them through this time. So that's a big awareness that people probably, because I've not had anybody who's super close to me that's gone through it. I mean, I have several girlfriends. I should say friends that I know.
Are we going
well, but they're not. What's that?
So we're going with associates. They're not like close, but you know.
They're not close, like really close, like within my inner circle, I'll say. But they're definitely people that I have. In fact, several of them, one just had surgery. They live over in St. Charles County, so I'm not close to them. And I made sure that I sent text messages and cards and those kind of things close enough that I want to make sure that they know that I'm thinking about them. But not in my inner circle per se.
Yeah, my cousin, she lived in Chicago, but she came in town, I think for mom to help her with
Mm-hmm.
recovery and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You look up like, how can I help someone? And it was just like, do something nice for them. And I know she likes her nails done, so I was like, hey, we can go to my lady, get your nails done,
Nice.
something to give you a little boost.
Little boost.
And I took her to my lady. These nails are expensive. I was like, so this is cost this much. I was like, but she cold, so we're gonna pay for it. We're gonna get this nice, this nice day of pocket trash and getting your nails done.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
But just try to think outside the box and what they would need. But just thinking about women and how we can support other women. What are some of the items, Teresa, like dealing with women who have pregnancy loss and infant loss? What are some of the ways that, we can help support them through this? Because this is a reminder, that our babies are not here.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many things to ways that we can help them. And I think the thing with both things, but I think with pregnancy loss, especially miscarriages in particular, as a society, we don't many times even know that it's happened. And so if we do know that it happens, many times society is like, well, how can you grieve something that a child you've never met? So it is very much a very isolating and silent kind of grief. But there's lots of things out there. There have been lots of things out there in the month of October. There is lots of walks that happen. I participated in 2 of those this month, one at Anderson Hospital because I'm part of their support group. Mm-hmm. And so they have a walk every year in October. And then the National SARE organization is in St. Charles County. And that walk is I'm going to estimate that there's a couple thousand people there, and they're down on the river in St. Charles. And in Anderson, there's a couple hundred, but those are huge. And you may not have been aware of this, but there was a wave of light that always happens in the month of October for pregnancy loss. And that is where at 7 o'clock, no matter what your time zone is, at 7 o'clock, you light a candle. And so they think it's like a wave because at 7 o'clock, this time zone lights. Mm-hmm. And so it goes around the world, which is a beautiful way to remember those losses, those pregnancy losses and infant losses too. It's just beautiful. Sometimes people I do a couple things in remembrance. I might do a candle socially with a little candle flicker like video, but then I also put a candle lit outside of my door as well. But things that can happen for them is just the same as with breast cancer. Cards, if they're not real close to you, just an awareness, a meal, taking them to get their nails done. Just being aware that it's very silent and they need support. Helping them with the self-care piece of that is what I will say. Just like you with doing nails, all of those things are super important. I think for women with pregnancy loss is acknowledging that there was a loss there and acknowledging that there's grief there many times is for them.
And this is a grief that I don't know that many people put eyes on when women choose to terminate the pregnancy for whatever reasons.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to get on a little soapbox real quick. But so I had a job for like a nonprofit that was one of those companies that kind of talked women out of terminating. Name your child, do this, do that, all these things to try to get the woman to not terminate the pregnancy. Sure. What I did not, two things. I don't want to talk somebody out of something that they know is best for them in their life, so that was one thing, taking away someone's right to choose. And then the other thing was like, okay, so they go through with this pregnancy, they have this baby, there are no supports on the other side. Mm-hmm. There's 18 supports to keep you from terminating, keep you from doing this, doing that. This child is alive, but there is no aftercare for how this woman can be positioned in a career, financially, so she's not struggling. And then now we're in burnout because we really didn't want this baby. We really didn't have the resources for the baby. We didn't have the village support. And now I got it because they were talking me into it, and now I'm abusing the baby or I'm on drugs or whatever. But those are the kind of things that kind of bother me about some of those. some of the losses, and people just not being realistic at what it looks like. So if the mom carries this baby, the mom's not married. Even if she is married, I was a married single parent, and it's garbage. It's so garbage, and I feel like women just cannot talk about it truthfully, because people will be like, what are you complaining for? Or at least you got a husband, or at least you got this, or at least, or at least you can have a baby, all of those kind of things.
I think in some areas there is support for them. I would agree with you. There probably definitely are areas that there is no support, and they're talked into keeping that child. And you had mentioned there are people that choose to not keep a child.
Mm-hmm.
And there are those that they lose a child. And what came to mind when you said that, I thought, of course, how we usually terminate a pregnancy, which is abortion. And when there's a miscarriage, I'm going to get deep into the medical system here.
Mm-hmm.
When there's a miscarriage, it is called a spontaneous abortion, which is so hurtful for those women that wanted that child so badly, and then now you're labeling it abortion. And so a spontaneous abortion. So there's just a lot with all of that. I mean, we could probably do 5 or 6 episodes on all of that. But I think you're right. I think in everything that women go through, what we started with at the very beginning is advocating and supporting each other. So you're right. If there is a woman that is talked into or decides, however that is, to keep a child, that we support them. And if we have someone that has breast cancer, we support them. Those that have lost a child in pregnancy, we support them. Those that have mental health challenges, we support them. And as a society, we need to get much better at that. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah, that is so true. My therapist was talking about this podcast. I'll have to share it with you later. But it's basically talking about how we raise our kids and how our world has changed. So meaning, no, everybody, you're grown at 18. And how the world has changed, we're not grown at 18. We're grown at 25, because we have so many more complexities that's happening in our life that we haven't changed our culture to address, Like before, people died at 40. So it's like, we're going to work this farm, we got to eat, we got to live, we're moving. Now we don't have that kind of struggle. We got a different kind of struggle that's landed more on us mentally instead of physically being in shape to work this farm or whatever, life or death. But it's just talking about how we really need to parent our children until they're about 25.
Sure.
They're not anywhere near ready,
And I'll say beyond. Because mine are beyond, and there are still times that they need parenting. And before we hit record, I talked about my daughter and her husband going to kind of like a bar hopping sort of a thing. I don't remember what those are called, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I said, it was in St. Louis, and I said, okay, well, how are you guys getting there? So I'm still parenting, and she's 45, and I'm still parenting, and her husband is 49. And I'm like, how are you getting there? How are you getting home? So it's mom, and it's still checking on them. And I was so grateful, and I just felt so good that they said, we're Ubering over and Ubering back. I'm like, okay, good. But it just helped my mind. It's like, okay.
It's okay. You are.
Do I need to step in here stronger, or is this going to be okay? And I did not have to technically parent them, but I would have. I would.
I'm a hover. It could be my cousin who's 50. I'll be like, hey, you might not want to do that because you might do X, Y, Z. Everywhere I go, hey, you might not want to do that because I saw this over there and that had happened earlier. But mostly, I'm parenting for myself because I'm like, I watch. It's a survival thing. I'm watching everything, making sure nobody gets hurt, and yada yada yada. I wish I could turn it off, but I can't. So I'm the same way, even though Gabe's 22, he doesn't really need me. I'm still like, hey, are you good?
Yeah.
And this is my son. He's like, Mom, I'm okay. I was like, no, Gabe, I want you to know that you are just as important as all these million cousins that I help take care of. He's like, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I just need to make sure. God, can you fake like you didn't?
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel like I'm doing Parent of the Year award over here?
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Yes. So the biggest thing we take away is talk to your village. Everyone needs support. You are not the only one experiencing this. I play this song. I don't know if you heard this song by Jelly Roll. It's called I'm Not Okay. And it's
a great song.
I know, right? It's like, man. That's like an anthem. I can't be the only one going through this now.
Yeah. It's a good song. I think that was his first hit. Did he win?
I don't know.
What show was he on? The Voice or American Idol or something with that song?
I organically landed on that song. The Lord knew I needed to hear it.
Yeah.
I've seen him on memes, but I had no clue who he was. I was like, Jelly Roll. Yeah. I don't know. But, okay.
Yeah.
He had just got married maybe a few years ago, so it was him and the wife or something.
Yeah, no. He's very, very popular. He came to St. Louis not too long ago, but he was like an opening act for a bigger one. So he's making his way, but that's a great song.
It is a great song. And it's
everyone.
Very, very validating. Like, this life is hard, but we gonna be all right.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
We are.
The next couple hours, let me play it again. Okay. So that's just what comes to mind when I think about just world mental health, because it does land on all of us a little bit different. What challenges my mental health may not be what challenges yours on a regular basis. Especially as Teresa is on the other side of 46 years of marriage. None of us know how that is done. She can write a book to be like, just let it go. This is what's important.
Yeah, that's true. You learn with experience, I guess, and time, not to harbor a lot of stuff. Like what is really important and what is not important. And
their parents too, though. Yeah.
And as we were talking about all these awarenesses this month, they are super important to be aware of other women that are going through all of these things. What would you say? Let's summarize a little bit how we can support women that are, we've talked about a few things like breast cancer, pregnancy loss, even in mental health. Would you say it's all self-care? And we've done a lot of self-care. Maybe we don't necessarily need to summarize it, but I would just say reach out to them first and foremost.
Well, it's kind of hard. I'm in counseling, so I meet different kinds of women all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for women. I'm one of them too. I'm trying to phrase it right. Like, we got to give each other more grace. Like, just for example, one lady who's divorced may not want to be for the streets. And for the streets really just mean dating multiple people at a time, which guys do it all the time. And I don't know how we get.
I've never heard of that term. What did you call it? And that means you can date multiple people? Like, you just don't call it dating multiple people.
It's like a term, basically mean you're just free. I'm not married. I'm not in a relationship. Okay. I'm just kind of having fun, and that's the easiest way I can PG it for this audience. But so I'm saying you might have some women that are like that. You might have some women that are, divorced, but they're waiting on their husband. I'm not gonna be out here messing with everybody. St. Louis is too small. Whatever. Or you might have this spiritual person who's waiting on the Lord to bring her husband. Whatever. My point in bringing all of it up is
to say, bring it around, because I'm like, what is
bringing it up? You got to give each other more grace. So even if you're for the streets, I'm not. I'm the spiritual one. I'm waiting on my husband. There's no shame for neither one of us, and we should still be able to support each other, even if that's your lane, and I don't feel that's my journey. It's opposite sex that has us kind of fighting each other for some of this stuff. Like for instance, like a cheating boyfriend. He can find a girl to cheat with them, but if women backed other women, then he could.
I see
What I'm saying, just little things like that where we kind of judge and criticize each other instead of supporting each other and celebrating our differences. Like, since you've been through way more than I be, so that's why you're for the streets right now. In this season, you're not really tied to anybody. Okay, good for you. I'm over here. I'm married. We done been through our ups and downs, and people are probably still confused as to how we're still married. But there's still grace. Okay, that's your journey. I don't all the way understand it, but I'm going to support you because I, like my friend Shannon says, I'm Team Wayna. So whatever Wayna's doing, I'm rocking with her. We got to kind of be that way for each other. Just team women, you know.
I love that.
If it's not anybody, we got to support each other.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think, too, and you probably experienced this just with coaching and working with people with therapy and everything, is that sometimes things that people share with me, I'm like, ooh, how does that feel? How does that align with my values? When sometimes I would say it doesn't necessarily, but always giving them grace.
Right.
I have not lived their life. I have no idea how their life has been, their childhood, their whatever. Even that may not agree with my values.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, give them grace and support them. And that's definitely what I do when I work with someone. And I think that's super important that you said that, because that's what, when you were saying that, I'm like, I've experienced that with working with people. Like, I'm not sure how this feels, and not for me, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, that's all okay. Give them grace.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is if they're not hurting anybody. Kids are not being impacted. Nobody else is being hurt by their behaviors of dating freely.
Yeah.
Do you, sis? Life is short, you know?
Yeah.
That gives you your uptick, makes you happy. I love that for you. It's just, I think it's a mind shift though, because we, like, even just, I talk to a lot of women. So women that have never been married, there's some sort of stigma and shame about that. And I'm like, you might be winning, to be honest. You know, if you don't want to be married, you don't want to, that's your choice. And I love that. I love that you know that.
Yeah.
I love that you didn't do what somebody told you to do, you know, because it's, you know, that's what we're all doing. You're like, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
You know, or women who choose not to have children, just all these different things.
I was just going to say, that's
like,
sometimes that's a choice. It's not something that has been decided for them to not have children, but sometimes it is a choice.
But
and sometimes
you get shamed for that. Well, you know, she's not like a mother. So, you know, she doesn't.
Yeah.
That's not true. And maybe you, like you said, maybe it wasn't her choice not to be a mother.
Yeah. And we need all those types of women.
Yes.
In our life. I need them.
You're the one to help me with my babies. Thank you so much, Shannon. Every Saturday for 2 years. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we need those
people too, though. She would, me and my husband were going through a divorce, my first husband, and she would come and get Gabe every other weekend, and then his dad would get him the in-between weekends. So I have every weekend off for like a year. And if you've never had that.
Well, as we conclude, let's support each other. Let's give each other grace. Let's do anything and everything we can do to support other women.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what we definitely like to talk about and share with people here on Female Voices Life and Loss, for sure. Anything else you want to share before we say goodbye to our audience today?
Find you a village. Find you some people that support you, that, you know, they feel like sunshine, you know, because there's enough negativity out here. Stay close to people that feel good.
Perfect. Okay. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. We would love for you to share this with another woman that needs to hear it today.